Hi, so for the next section, I would like to let you know what is the environments for our Rattles. For the Rattle, it's a GUI interface. You can do your data analytics. So they have some menu function here by the icon. So you can use this kind of tabs. The first things you have to deal with your data. The data you are going to deal with is to import your data or export your data. And your data may be from your CSV file, from your Excel file, or maybe you can from the data set, our data set. So next I would like to tell you how to use the data set from RStudio. Okay, so there are two windows. One window is Rattle, this one. The second one is we are familiar is RStudio. So okay, so let us to bring in our data set iris. So we use data, D-A-T-A, I-R-I-S, iris, to bring the data set into our RStudio. Okay, so let us to delete all the environments variables. So okay, so let me re-execute the data iris function again. Okay, so you may use summary as to see it, the summary for the iris. Okay, so I think all students are familiar with the summary, right? And also familiar with this iris data set, which in Chinese we call 鸢尾花, this data set. Okay, so when you bring in your data set to RStudio, so right now let us go back to Rattle environments. So in Rattle environments, you can bring in the data set featured in RStudio. When you are using the data set in RStudio, so you may choose this one, data set, R data set here. So here you may see the iris data set here. Okay, so when you do this, when you finish your process, don't forget to execute, to run your current state to take this function effect. Okay, so here Rattle bring in the iris data set. You may see there are 5 variables in iris, which is sepal length, sepal width, 花萼的长度，花萼的宽度 petal length, petal width, 花瓣的长度，花瓣的宽度 and the last one, species. Here they have some data type, it tells you the data type for each variable. Here is the variable name, and the second column is the data type. For the first 4 variables are numericals, so they are numbers. For the last one is labels, categories, 类别型. So I specify the species for the iris. So do you guys know how many species for the iris dataset? There are 3 species. Okay, so don't forget. You may see here there are 3 species: Sentosa, versicolor, virginica. Don't forget what is iris dataset means. So let me tell you again. So what is iris? Okay, so iris in Chinese we call 鸢尾花. So this kind of flowers are iris. So you may see here. So here is sepal, lens, petal. Petal is here. Sepal is here. Lens, wise, lens, and wise. Okay, so for the first things, you have to import your data set. Later, I will show you how to import the data set you just download from internet. Okay, so let us go to the second tab, Explore. To explore your data, to know your data better. Since in Rattle, you don't have to write any source code. Okay, so in the second Explore tab, you may see some type functions. The Explore type to realize your data. The first one is summary, right? We use summary also in RStudio. So you can use the summary here. Don't forget, when you choose the process, you have to execute the current tab to take the effect for your process. Okay, so just run it, execute it. Okay, so when you are new for your Rattle, maybe some required package are not installed. So when you see any pop-up window to remind you if you don't install the required package, so you just click yes to let the system to install the required packages for you. Is it clear? So anything, so when you see any pop-up window, so just click yes. So you can see here, so RStudio right now is install required package for us. So you may wait some time to let the system to install required package. Okay, so The installation is done, so you may see the result for summary. So here there are 5 variables here. So you go down, so you may see exactly the format as the summary when we use it in RStudio. For the numerical variable, you may check the minima value for the variable, the maxima value for the variable. So here you indicate that the minima length for sepal length is 4.3 centimeter. For the maxima, sepal length is almost 8 centimeter. For the average, sepal length is 5.787. For the category variables, you may see the variables count. Oh, sorry. In iris dataset, all species should be 50, right? But right now, so let us go back to the data here, because they have a partition here. So when we import the data set, we don't have to partition. So let us to uncheck the partition function and re-execute the tab. Okay, so here in the bottom of the GUI interface, you see there are 150 observations and 4 input variables with 1 target species. Right now is in Rattle. Okay, so let us go back to Explore tab and do the summary and summary again. Okay, so you here is perfect. So for each species, there are 50 observations. Is it clear? Also, you can see some distribution here. Distribution for your dataset. If I want to see the distribution for pairs, so I can choose the pairs. If I want to see all the numerical variable to see their distribution, also group by species. Okay, so when you done, it's the same to execute this current tab. Okay, just yes. Later you will find a perfect distribution for our 4 numerical variables. Okay, if you want, when you are in RStudio Windows, if you want to go to Rattle, so you just click this icon. The Rattle will be back. Okay, so here you can see the pairs for each variables. Okay, it's your turn to show the distribution for these 4 variables. And in the next section, I would like to explain the more detail for the distribution function, which is a geographic, a visualization. Okay, it's your turn.